Tonight from downtown Lexington, Kentucky, we are inside Rupp Arena for another basketball game as the Cats look for a bounce back. And the reigning National Player of the Year, Oscar Tshiebwe, continues to ride that double-double train. Tonight they welcome the Bulldogs of South Carolina State. And Big Blue Nation thirsty, hungry, whatever. They need sprinkles on that ice cream cone, and they need a win. Fourth-ranked Kentucky 2-1. South Carolina State winless so far this season. With that, we welcome you courtside. Tom Hart, alongside my buddy Pat Bradley. This is a Kentucky fan base and a program. Talking with John Calipari today. They felt like they gave one away a couple nights ago against Michigan State.
It was a great learning lesson. And so now back at Rupp, you get a chance to get things right early in the season still, but it starts with the big man, Oscar Tshiebwe. His debut the other night didn't start, but he came in, gets busy right away on the offensive glass and a stick back. Something he's been working on, that 17-foot jump shot right there. He's improved on that since last season. I love it right here. Sales goes up strong with the finish. And something that everybody in the country knows how big and strong his hands are. He can finish in the lane through traffic.
First action of the season, and he went 34 minutes. By the way, turned in his 17th consecutive double-double. That's 22 and 18. It's not just Oscar for this Kentucky team. If they want to make a deep run this season, it's the guys playing around him. He's got a great point guard in Cason Wallace, who defensively nearly won the game for Kentucky, and C.J. Frederick, who can shoot.
Kentucky fans, if they haven't already fallen in love with Cason Wallace, they will. 6'4", loves to defend, also plays the point guard position. He's got great length, and C.J. Frederick shoots it at 39% from the three-point line this year. He will improve on that. He's got great balance in the jump shot.
John Calipari in his 14th season as Kentucky's head coach. And disappointment after the performance against Michigan State. He said, we are a program of accountability. A lot of that is on me. On the other side, former Cincinnati Bearcat Eric Martin, longtime assistant to Bob Huggins, the Hall of Famer at both Kansas State and West Virginia in his first season as a head coach. He is their third different head coach over the last 3 seasons. So challenge in front of Eric Martin, who for 16 years was assistant to Huggy Bear. Bulldogs have already taken on one SEC team this season. They had a great outing to open their year against South Carolina, nearly won that game on the road in Columbia. Xavier Wheeler will handle the point guard duties, and he finds C.J. Frederick. And Frederick back home at Rupp Arena buries his first. He was just 1 for 6 against Michigan State.
Saw why Xavier is so tough, because that quick first step gets in the lane, on time, on target to C.J. Frederick. The time, he's going to take a little while for those guys to get that timing right here this season.
For South Carolina State, Lasan Hallam's a sophomore from Brooklyn, is their best player coming in. He's averaging 13 points and had 20 in the South Carolina game. He wears number 3 in maroon, guarded by Cason Wallace, who set a Kentucky record for steals against Michigan State. And they even the score 3 apiece on the triple from Rakeem Gary.
So this is what South Carolina State's going to do. Pressure you full court. Make you not only take care of the ball, but get into rotations and take shots like that.
We're tied at 3 early after the top and miss. Frederick finds it. And now C.J. Frederick drifting a bit. And rebound pulled down by Lasan Hallam. He's from Brooklyn. Played his junior college ball in California. Last year gave him 25 and 10. And JUCO with 3.5 assists a game.
So the other thing they're going to try to do is spread out that floor, 5 guys above the three-point line, and then post up at the end of the shot clock if they can. Great ball movement and player movement.
And they're using every bit of the shot clock again. And an illegal screen up front. That's a 7-footer, Dallas James. And that'll go against the Bulldogs.
It's going to be a nice little matchup with Hallam's number 3 and Cason Wallace guarding him, because Hallam's under control, understands how to get in the lane, find his guys, and also finish.
Well, the finish is something that was lacking for Kentucky against Michigan State. Double overtime loss. And John Calipari talking with him today, trying to figure out who's my best 5 for the final 4 minutes, which may be different than your best 5 to start a game.
Well, a lot of that game against Michigan State was the situational stuff.
Yeah.
And there was a few defensive breakdowns, communication. Even from the offensive end, there was some turnovers. So it's a work in progress.
Tshiebwe coming off the bench tonight, as he did in his opener, as Lance Ware turns it over.
See that length by Cason Wallace right there to get low, get his hand on the ball.
8 steals against Michigan State. He had a steal on the very first possession of the game. Up ahead to Frederick. And he'll take a bump and get the bucket. And C.J. Frederick will go to the free throw line. He has all 5 for Kentucky here early on.
Ooh, it feels good for a shooter to get out in the break. He doesn't run to the three-point line. He goes to the rim and finishes it.
You know what it's like to be in the mind of a shooter. All right, so walk me through what C.J. Frederick may be thinking after a 1-for-6 night on the biggest stage of college basketball so far.
Well, he knows it's going to come back quick, and you could see his teammates trying to get him involved immediately because they know they need him. Yeah. That first play, Xavier, penetrate kick. Lance Ware, that previous play, held on to it a little too long. He had C.J. open in the corner. Right there again, they wanted to get him going.
Frederick tried to jump the pass, ends up a 2-on-1 after the press. Ware challenged that one from James, and the loose ball will end up with Kentucky's big man, Xavier Wheeler. The lob, Toppin! And it'll roll home. Talking with Eric Martin, the head coach of South Carolina State before the game today. He wants to eventually turn his program into what they had at West Virginia when they called it Press Virginia, turning people over, playing 94 feet. To do that, though, you got to have depth. You got to get guys who can go deep. They may not be there just yet with this roster.
We know fatigue will make cowards of us all, so that's part of what they want to do is wear you down.
Here's Wallace, corner 3, and an early timeout taken. Cason Wallace hit a couple of threes against Michigan State. Xavier Wheeler pushing it, and a lot of transition opportunities for the Cats early tonight.
Well, there's a good job of attacking South Carolina State's press, flattening out. You saw in that alley-oop to Jacob Toppin, C.J. Frederick sprinted to the other corner to flatten out that defense that allowed for that lob pass. Cason Wallace right there sprints to the corner. They're attacking South Carolina State. Their press, good things are happening, playing under control.
Cal talking to his guys, his message to his team at shoot-around today as they recapped a little bit of what happened in Indianapolis 2 nights ago was accountability in many ways. In fact, he pointed out Cason Wallace, after missing free throws late, got in the locker room, was mad at himself, took accountability. That's my bad. I got to make those free throws. He took accountability. He said, I should have played Antonio Reeves more. I made mistakes as a coach, but he'd love to see some more individuals stand up and be good teammates.
Well, first, you have to have that first guy say it. I can remember being in a locker room, and once the first guy had said, hey, this is on me, then everybody else said, yeah, you know what, let me help take responsibility on this. And that's how you improve as a team. That's how you trust one another.
Nice cut, and Davion Everett, who's a sophomore from Columbia, South Carolina, is able to get the bucket. That ends an 8-0 Kentucky run.
The other thing South Carolina State does well, they move so fast, defensively, offensively, quick to the ball. They get the ball up fast.
They're coming off of a loss Tuesday to Duquesne, lost 96-71. They'll have 50 points at the half. Down 50-29 at the half, and Eric Martin was saying, I learned who I could and should be playing a little bit more. 3 ball from Gary, that's his second triple.
Well, South Carolina State gave South Carolina everything they wanted. They made more threes than they did turnovers in that game. So with Kentucky's length, that usually bothers a lot of people. We'll see if they can do that and turn over South Carolina State.
Here's Toppin. South Carolina State 2 for 2 from deep. They get it inside again. Nice touch. And Dallas James, the only front court returnee for a team that went 15-16 last year, even money in the MAC. They were coached by Tony Madlock, longtime assistant. Had a couple of different stops in the SEC, most recently Ole Miss, before going with Penny Hardaway to Memphis, his old college teammate. Here's Ware off the feed from Frederick. And Lance Ware will be at the free throw line when we return. Kentucky with a 3-point lead, and the reigning National Player of the Year waiting to check into this game for the Cats. Good offensive start for Kentucky with 56% shooting, and good to get Oscar Tshiebwe back on the floor. Some last-minute instruction for the reigning National Player of the Year. Came off the bench against Michigan State and finished with 22 and 18, his 17th straight double-double. Malik Hall had a dunk in regulation off of a missed defensive assignment. Oscar thought everybody was switching. He was the only one that did. And Michigan State ends up escaping with an 86-77 double overtime win. And we had a long chat with Cal about that game today and talked about that play at the end of regulation of forced overtime. But here's some nuggets on Oscar. First unanimous selection as National Player of the Year, not only in Kentucky history, but in SEC history as well. Led the country in rebounding, led the team in scoring, and a single season record in double-doubles. He will come in for Ware, who's at the free throw line. Oscar, in many ways, did not behave like the Oscar that many people have gotten to know. There was
a little animated, wasn't he?
A little showboating.
Showboating. But he's been waiting a few games to get out there, and when you do it on a big stage against Michigan State, and that's the thing. He hasn't played. He comes in, has 22 and 18.
Yeah.
In 34 minutes. So, yeah, he's probably hyped.
They had
over emotional.
Yeah, the staff did have a talk with him after the game, and Cal kind of pointed it out to him before practice today. And learning how important it is to be humble. A mid-range jumper goes for Rashawn Edwards.
And you like emotion. It's just you don't want that to get in the way of the focus. Great attack by Frederick.
Frederick's got 8. Listen, flex on anybody you want as long as there's been a whistle blown and it's a dead ball.
Right.
Sure. Don't flex and watch the other team go 94 feet and your guy dunk it.
Well, there are some players who can talk, and that's part of their game, and there are others who that gets them out of and their focus of the game. So if this not somebody you do it all the time, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. But what I love there is Kentucky is getting up the floor on makes and misses. The transition looks great right now.
Damian Collins checked in at the timeout.
We'll get back to
the rebound.
Oh, that was that give it up, get it back.
Yeah. Frederick in the corner.
Now's that zone, South Carolina State. And they'll switch defenses, man to zone, to try to keep Kentucky on their heels.
Reach in by Cason Wallace. That's his first.
Cason is so long. He's got great defensive instincts. Loves it.
So here's Oscar Tshiebwe. Oscar Tshiebwe, as you know, started at West Virginia, and the big man coach at West Virginia during his time there was Eric Martin, South Carolina State's head coach. So we're out on the floor talking with Coach before the game. Oscar came out, said hello, very friendly exchange. And what was the first thing Coach Martin said? My daughter told you to say hello.
Right.
Collins up high for the board. See how soon Oscar gets a touch.
I think he got higher than anybody I've ever seen on a defensive rebound. The other thing Coach said to Oscar, he said about Oscar was he could tell that he's gotten bigger, muscular-wise, trimmed up a little. And I think that is what Oscar was trying to do when he came back this year, was just get more toned, his body, upper body, move a little bit quicker. If you can imagine, he runs about as fast end-to-end as any big man in the country, if not faster than anybody.
Well, Eric Martin was incredibly complimentary of Oscar's future. He said, I don't care where he goes in the draft, that guy's going to make millions and millions of dollars in the NBA because he's going to play forever because he already has an NBA motor. Livingston gets that one rejected.
I saw what Livingston was trying to do, get in the gap, throw the alley-oop to Oscar. Let's run now. There you go, run the lane.
Tshiebwe the board. Antonio Reeves is in the game. Oscar. Another rebound. Here's Reeves now. And a follow tip by Damian Collins.
See that whole sequence. Big Oscar sprints down the floor, gets the offensive rebound, gets another shot for his offense.
What a difference he makes, huh? A rare
The
rebound
difference-
doesn't come to Oscar.
When guys sprint, Tom Hart, it makes a difference.
You were so excited you sprinted to Rupp today. You were the first one in the building tonight.
It did. It was my Uber driver. Great man. That guy knows the back road to Lexington like you can't believe.
One thing that we're talking with Kyle about today, Oscar coming off the minor knee surgery, he had only played 5-on-5 one time before they left for Indianapolis. And so when John Calipari talks about his guys not playing together, Damian Collins missing time due to the death and subsequent funeral for his father, Oscar being out with a knee injury, he said our post passing was horrendous because we haven't had Oscar on the floor to work on post passing. That one gets taken away after a bad feed from Collins.
Right on cue. The art of the post pass isn't what it used to be. Although it is the year of the big man in college basketball.
Sure is. Might be a new era, huh?
Oh, the end of an era. Hopefully not. Great pass.
Here's Antonio Reeves open, and he's missed his first couple. How about a big man that can run 6'9", 260, picking him up and putting him down.
Outlet pass. Look at that sprint. High knees, big fella. High knees. And it pays off because now the defense flattens out, gets the offensive rebound, gets his guys another look at it, and they do not disappoint. Great swing pass. There's Reeves again. And Collins for the tip-in.
Well, Eric Martin is the head coach now at South Carolina State. His first head coaching opportunity was a forward for Cincinnati, a team that went to the Final Four in '92, Elite Eight in '93, played for and coached with Huggy Bear, some of his former teammates, Corey Blunt, a great Nick Van Exel. Man, they had some dudes, huh?
That's Cincinnati teams throughout the 90s.
So here's the timeline at South Carolina State. They fired the previous head coach in March of 21. Tony Madlock took over 10 days later. Looked like things were on the upswing. And Madlock had a pretty good year, just a game under 500 with only 8 scholarships. Madlock didn't like it, left for Alabama State. It took him from April 11th to July 13th to hire Coach Martin. And we're talking about the timeline today, and I said, man, that must have been a really long process. He said, no. Somebody called Bob Huggins, asked about one of Eric Beilein's guys. He said, you're after the wrong guy. You should check out my guy, Eric Martin. That was in July. It is almost impossible to get everything done you need to do in college basketball when you don't get the job until July 13th.
And he was ready. That's why you got to stay ready, not get ready. And he said the transfer portal wasn't a lot at that time, mid-July, as you can imagine.
Collins with goaltending.
But he made it work.
3 head coaches over 3 years. Haven't been over 500 since 2016. Last played in the NCAA tournament in 2003. And 2 years ago, before Tony Madlock took over, they only had 1 win. Shibwe. Nope. So that's a lot of turnover in the head coaching position, and there's also a lot of turnover in administration. The guy that hired Eric Martin is already gone. Stacey Danley was let go. That is now 4 ADs since 2016. And they're going to be on the road a ton. 11 straight on the road for the South Carolina State team. KenPom has them only winning 4 games this season. Loose ball. And we got a jump ball. And so Eric Martin said, you know, I built this program. I want to make sure. It looked like Pat when I tried to borrow his handkerchief pregame.
Try to go for my pregame mail. That's how we get into it.
That's right. Won't be home until December 13th. He said we got to have more home games. I got to go play the bye games to help with the budget, but we need people in Orangeburg, South Carolina to come out and support the team.
And that's the challenge, right? We know some coaches and programs understand to raise the money they need to for the athletic department. They do play the majority of November, December on the road.
Stolen away by Oscar. And he will take it himself. Where did that come from?
The big Oscar step. I thought he was going to pass that. Great balance.
Well, Oscar Tshiebwe had a great pro day, playing on a knee that was bothering him at the time. Eventually had that cleaned up, but a lot of what impressed the scouts was his ability to put the ball on the floor. Livingston with the rebound. Out to Wallace. And Reeves fouled on the pass.
Great
runaway freight train.
It was great awareness right there. Turns around, throws it right to him. 1-2 dribble finish. And a lot of that ball handling you talk about, it's not to run the point, but it's to make sure that you can handle it strong. If you have to relieve some pressure, if you do get a steal, 1-2 dribble straight to the rim.
Does Oscar have the ability or confidence to make that play last year?
He may have the confidence to it. There's no question, right? But would it have worked out like that? Not sure. And that's the progression of it. I think he's more comfortable. He's obviously from a skill level. He's much better. We saw him before the game and that shoot around, working on his right hand, left hand hooks. We know he's got strong hands already, so he can catch in traffic. But it's about awareness, offensive awareness, where he's at, where he feels like he's comfortable on the floor.
Damian Collins back on the floor. That's a good sign. Missed some time after his dad passed away. Had been working out with Damian in the gym and went back to the apartment he was staying at here in Lexington the night he passed away. And so Damian was away from the team for a couple of days during the opener. Came back the night of the opener and then had to fly back to Texas for the funeral before rejoining the squad. So nice to see him back on the floor. A guy that at that 4 position, Kentucky needs real production from either him or Jacob Toppin this year.
There's no doubt those guys can win a game for you on none of the offensive glass, right, with the stick back. Wow, that's incredible touch.
Isaiah Turner.
It's almost like he shot on these rims before that guy. But also defensively, right? Get a rebound, start the break and run. You see how effective Kentucky is in transition with the length and the athletes that they have.
Well, John Calipari sent a message to his foremen after practice today. He said, if you don't get rebounds, I'll just put Livingston at the 4, and we'll play with him down there. And that was also a message to Chris, trying to figure out where he fits.
That has always been what Kentucky does. Offensive rebound, stick back, defensive rebound, get in transition.
Whoa! Got springs in his shoes. One thing to be a rim protector, another one to be a jump shot protector.
So Cal was talking earlier today. He said she would do that against Hauser against Michigan State. But instead of running him off the three-point line, go after the ball. He blocked that with both hands.
He did. Pretty good volleyball program in town. And
other thing he could have done was catch it, turn, and start the break.
7'3" wingspan and a
is it 46.5?
46.5 vertical.
Look, see where he jumps from.
He jumped from Paducah.
He jumped from Paducah. Oh yeah. I mean, at what moment did you think my man was like, uh-oh, I should have pump faked this?
Can't not shoot it. Here's your hoop scoop. Max vertical 46.5. And by the way, he's 6'9", but the wingspan is 7'3". So there you go.
That's closing space right there. That's why you always have to be aware of your personnel around you defensively, because that's a pump fake. Let me see how, because clearly you know Damian Collins. If you've watched any video, you know he can get that.
Whoa, nearly a stick back. Adu Thiero is on the floor. He rips one away. He's looking to earn playing time.
That's how you get it.
Frederick finds Wheeler. Quickly to Oscar. Great pass from CJ. And a nice finish, but a big man.
Well, that was exactly how Cal would have wanted to draw it up, right? Good, tough defensive rebound. Everybody get in their lanes, attack the paint, kick out, attack, good post pass.
Frederick got in the way of that one, forced the turnover. Thiero getting first half run, didn't see the floor against Michigan State, and an offensive foul.
I was just going to say that set up perfectly for a C.J. Frederick. Trail the play, kick back for a three from the top of the key because it was a slow-moving, fast break.
You look back on the Michigan State game Tuesday night, Champions Classic, big night, big crowd. Did you feel like the moment got too big for any of the Kentucky guys?
I don't know. Watching Michigan State, I don't know how they weren't in the top 25, first of all, because they've got an extremely well-balanced team. They got a fantastic shooter in Hauser. They got bigs that can battle against anybody in the country. And I feel like they're familiar with Frederick. And I thought they had a really good game plan. They didn't give him much room.
Obviously, Izzo saw him in the Big Ten when he played at Iowa for 2 years. 37% career three-point shooter.
And they got them in half court a lot. You see tonight the transition. And that's get Kentucky in the open floor. It's lights out.
Oscar with the jump shot.
I like that catch and shoot, no hesitation.
You see the evolution of his game. We talked with Eric Martin, who coached him at West Virginia. He said the only issue he had at West Virginia is we had another big by the name of Derek Culver. So we had 20 rebounds tonight. It's just that Culver was getting 12 and Oscar was getting 8. He's a human vacuum on this team, sucking up every rebound.
You don't mind him being selfish when it comes to his defensive rebounds.
Thiero hangs and hits, and he'll go to the line. Oscar Tshiebwe off the bench, and immediate impact, as you would expect.
Under control, 1-2 dribbles, throws it out, finish strong. And then a great position there, one step through, handed scoop for the Big O.
Well, some men are great when they got to be great, and Ralph Sampson was a 3-time Naismith Player of the Year at Virginia. What a monster inside, and when the ACC was absolutely loaded. And Oscar trying to follow those footsteps, back-to-back Player of the Year possibilities. Rare just to even come back to school if you're the Player of the Year. He told me when we were in the Bahamas, he said, I just didn't understand. I prayed to God. I said, how is it possible that I'm the best player in college basketball, but I'm not a first-round pick? And God said, well, the folks in Kentucky need you. That's your platform. Right. Go back. And well, his platform starts in the basketball court.
Well, he feels so much more comfortable with the ball in his hands, as you saw, not only on that steal, 2 dribbles for the dunk, but right there, catches it, aware of where the open man is, makes the correct pass, on time, on target, like a one Tom Brady.
You think he's going to be an actor, too, like Brady?
Could be. His pliability, if you saw what he was doing before the game, I'm talking about Oscar's pliability is through the roof right now. My goodness.
You have to be flexible to be an actor.
You do.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, they all say it. Brad Pitt. Josh Hopkins, which is a Kentucky guy, was on his podcast with him and Rex Chapman. Josh was in The Perfect Storm. You remember that?
Oh, sure.
Yep. Josh, the Lexington guy.
I feel like it's a perfect storm anytime I work with you. Thiero makes it a 3-point play.
Get your life jacket. You never know.
Cats shooting 55% from the floor. Onyenso is on the floor and get whistle for the foul, so it turns into a push-up.
I was watching Onyenso before the game. He has got a nice-looking jump shot.
Oh, yeah.
Elbow, nice and tight. Good release. Good balance. Extremely impressed.
Free throw coming for Isaiah Turner. And he's got another one. By the way, we've got a doubleheader tonight. Tolu Smith and Mississippi State welcome the Coyotes of South Dakota right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Don't get them confused with the Jackrabbits of South Dakota State, who just got beat by Arkansas last night. Pat, that was their second game in 2 days. They played a home game the afternoon before. Traveled all the way down to Fayetteville. Played that game last night just to get dunked on by Trayvon Brazile.
It wasn't very nice then. It was nice by the host, but probably should schedule a little better than that.
A little bit of breathing room, maybe? A little bit. Wheeler had a big 3 second half against Michigan State, and Thiero Listen, you know from experience, these folding chairs can be dangerous.
Oh, yeah. I took a header in one of these folding chairs into the first, second row. Back there, one of my first times at Rupp. Good hustle. Yeah, the arrow, he comes in, diving on the floor, getting defensive rebounds. He understands how to get minutes.
Bulldogs hanging in. And that one's blocked by Toppin. It'll lead to a break and a flush.
Yeah, it looked like he pushed him in the lower back area. Great timing. Straight to the basket.
Foul on Isaiah Turner. Got his shot blocked and then lost the foot race. That's dangerous.
So him being such a key this year, right? Yep. Jacob Toppin. He dedicated himself this year to improve. Another offensive rebound.
And an offensive foul on Thiero. That's just
love the hustle, love the aggressiveness right by the young fella. Wanting to make a difference in the game on the glass, which I think is important. Just Coach Cal talked about that this morning. But Jacob Toppin, talk about making a difference. The defensive end, the defensive rebound, offensive rebound stickbacks. Allow that jump shot to come to you because he can make a shot. On balance, wait for him to swing it, make good decisions. That's what he should focus on. Looks like Kentucky wanted to put that press on there, but Xavier was the only one that was committed to it.
Frederick got beat off the bounce and good finish. Well, LaShawn Hollums, the best player on the team, with his first bucket of the night, and then Frederick got fouled on the jump shot. And foul be charged to Hollums. Came up with some cobwebs, just going to shake him off a little bit.
Yeah, I want to see that replay again. Almost looked like C.J. Frederick. When he got up to shoot that, he saw Hollums coming and tried to maybe pass that because he knew at that moment, oh, here he comes. You see how that right arm sort of...
Trying to quicken the release, maybe?
Yeah, maybe it was. Let me get this off quick.
Frederick's got 9 early.
But again, I like that transition. If I'm C.J. Frederick, I'm sprinting to the three-point line because I got a great rebounding team behind me. I got Xavier Wheeler or Cason Wallace in their breakneck speed up the floor. Catch and shoot.
3 for 3, and Kentucky matches its largest lead, has its largest lead, I should say, up 13 now. Heavy favorites in this game, but South Carolina State hanging tough relative to the odds makers here in the first half.
Well, they're player moving, ball moving, fast cuts, and you got a guy who can handle the ball and create things for other people like Hollums. You got a good shot of getting a decent shot each time down the floor. Although that's a tough one there.
Yeah, fading away. Rebound found by Wheeler. Here's Toppin. Toppin gets tied up and will take it back out. Frederick with the floater.
I think he could have stepped right into that one and shot it.
On the other side, it's Gary. A little sloppy now. Here's Frederick. Wheeler, maybe walked. Instead, Livingston finishes.
Clean the glass, get out in the lanes. I mean, who's faster than Xavier Wheeler getting out there? Nobody. Just got to keep your head up.
Averaging 9.5 assists. Got 11 off the bench the other night. That was 2 games ago. Wheeler coming off of a 40-minute effort against Michigan State.
There you go. Rebound, no dribble at all, and you end up with a layup. 4 guys touch the ball, layup. No dribbles. It's kind of like the old school way.
Yeah. He's running 3-man break coast to coast. Don't let it hit the floor.
Don't let it hit the floor.
Who's the second most important player on this Kentucky roster this year?
Well, I would say it comes down to the shoot because we know defensively, although yes, they made some mistakes defensively, but if you can make shots, and that falls on Frederick, Reeves, Cason Wallace, to me, is... And after Oscar, and Oscar has to learn to stay in the game.
You're kind of like Fish talking about the number of SEC teams going to make. I said the second most, and you named 3 guys. Onyenso flies down the lane for the dunk.
I'm going to say Cason Wallace.
You can just say the 2 position if you want. The 2-man might be second most important, whoever that is.
You got to make shots. You got there's no question. And they have guys that can do that in Reeves and Frederick. But I think Cason Wallace, after Oscar, is going to be extremely important because of his ability to get in the lane, finish, defend. And he plays well with Severe Wheeler. He can play the point, too.
Reeves draws a foul. And the Cats with a 39-22 lead. It's now a 9-0 Kentucky run as they count that one from Antonio Reeves. The Cats back home in Rupp Arena. So they've won 21 straight, looking to keep that streak going against the Bulldogs of SC State. 4th-ranked Kentucky with a 17-point lead. Oscar Tshiebwe coming off the bench for the 2nd consecutive night. Here's what his night has looked like so far.
The most consistently productive player in college basketball. That's why he's the National Player of the Year. You know he's always going to rebound. Great awareness there. Snatches it under control. The big fella. Should have gave 3 points for that. Right here, patience, looks over his right shoulder. Let's see where the defense is. Right there, no hesitation on that jump shot, playing a complete game. Not as big a statistical night as we've seen him up to this point.
Well, and the thought was, given the opponent and how this game is kind of hammocked between Michigan State and Gonzaga, we'll see a little bit less of Oscar tonight.
Sure.
Now, this is important because Seth Greenberger's watching, and he wants to know exactly how long he has to watch tonight. You think Oscar, he got like 6 more minutes in him in the second half?
Well, if I know Oscar, he's going to be chirping in Coach Cal's ear.
Yeah.
Right? All second half. Coach, put me back in. I got to work on this. Coach, put me back in. I got to work on that.
Antonio Reeves at the free throw line.
What else does Coach Greenberg have to do, by the way? What is he going to do?
Yeah.
He's going to turn TV off?
He's going to walk the dog. That's what he's going to do.
He's not going to cut the grass. I know that. He's not going to do any yard work.
Nah, not a yard work kind of guy. I got to pay for another wedding. 19-point lead for Kentucky. No Oscar on the floor right now. We've got Onyenso manning the 5 and Toppin at the 4. Getting late in the shot clock again, and it is lost by South Carolina State.
How about that big 7-footer getting down at the 3-point line? Getting low, great length, getting a hand on the basketball.
Checking in for the Bulldogs is number 42, Dallas James.
Big guy Dallas James back on the floor, the 7-footer for South Carolina State. Cason Wallace with the ball in his hands. Stole the very first possession from Michigan State on Tuesday night. And that one's off the window and in.
Tough move. Watching that offensive possession, there was good movement. He didn't take the screen, the high ball screen by Jacob Toppin. Read that defense well, but you just saw his balance and creativity finishing in the paint.
Onyenso tracks it down. That was a pass, and Onyenso waited for it to come off the glass.
Dennis Johnson made a pass to Larry Bird like that one time off the backboard. Rattled the whole stanchion.
I'm shocked we got this deep in the game before we got your first Celtics reference. And again, you got Tom Brady in very early.
Tom and Larry, I'm done now.
Raheem Gary with the pull-up. How did you ever end up in Arkansas?
Stroke of luck.
For everybody. Onyenso got challenged. Did you like shooting in this building?
Loved it. Loved it. Had some of my best shooting games.
What's the difference?
I think that was a heck of a shot right there. As you see, it's funny how the lighting helps, but when you go into an opponent's arena and it's packed, it's loud, you get focused. And there was some great teams. The 96 National Championship team played against here. The 98 National Championship team played against here. So we didn't come out with a W.
That's all right. Pat got his shots.
I got mine. No.
And Yenso's got 6. You saw your buddy Cameron Mills before the game.
Yeah, it was good to see him working for the broadcast now. He had a heck of a 97 Final Four run.
Yeah, him pregame and getting even better with Goose Givens, most outstanding player of the Final Four, and a pretty good golfer during the game with Tom Leach. Wallace finds the loose ball, 30 seconds left.
But do you see the impact Wallace has had offensively? He's running the point, running the break.
Big time rebound by Livingston. Livingston only had 1 point against Michigan State. It's got 4 points here in the first half. The lead's 22. South Carolina State has been good from deep. They've made 4 threes this half. And they'll look for their 5th challenge 3. Got it! It's a big-time triple by Rashawn Edwards, and C.J. Frederick knows a great shooter when he sees it. 49-30 is our score. And after the break, we'll get you to the studio for the SEC Network halftime report. And then Pat is going to test his lactose intolerance. He's going to eat some ice cream. Andrea Carter and Alyssa Lang, the 2 number 1s in the row this week. Georgia football and South Carolina women's hoops. That's after this. Dance party at Rupp tonight, and the Cats have a 19-point lead as we get ready to start the second half. Here's how John Calipari's team has pulled it together. Got a lot of fight from South Carolina State tonight, but let's talk about C.J. Frederick.
Sure, you asked me who's the second most important player. Well, at times it will be C.J. Frederick and his ability to make shots, especially in transition. I love how Kentucky has been committed to getting off the glass on a steal, getting down the floor right there. Cason Wallace, another guy who splits time. Point guard, his ability to get in the lane, finish, 6'4", long and strong. Those 2 guys are leading the way for Kentucky today.
Frederick with 11, got a 3-pointer and an old-fashioned 3-point play. And to start the second half, Oscar Tshiebwe is out there, did not start the game. Tshiebwe still coming back from the knee injury. There you go.
I mean, that's just a perfect setup. Xavier Wheeler plays at that high ball screen, turns the corner as well as anybody in the country. You've got to respect that as the help man in the corner, and Cason Wallace knocks it down. I love the dynamic of Wallace. Oh, everybody had their back turned on the other side. Cannot lose sight of the basketball when you're playing help defense.
Another corner 3. And Toppin with good stretch and even reach it. And then introduces himself to the Photogs. Raheem Gary leading the way for South Carolina State. He's got 11 points here in the first half. And Rashawn Edwards, second leading scorer, re-enters the game. Gary's going to get a break. Talking about Tshiebwe a moment ago, just limited time in the first half. 6 minutes and 42 seconds, and you would think with long trip out to the West Coast to Spokane for a game Sunday afternoon, they'll try to get him out of this second half quick. Here's Frederick, transition 3, good.
He's going to get a lot of shots on that trail 3 because of Kentucky's ability to get the ball up the floor. Xavier Wheeler, Cason Wallace, that speed. C.J. Frederick at times, if you can't beat the ball down the floor, then you trail. They'll kick it back to you for an open 3.
Good pass, and that one just off the heel. Loose ball, tracked down by the Bulldogs and put off the window by Hallams. Came in as their leading scorer with 13 a game. He has 4 tonight. Wheeler in the paint.
See, I like when at times Xavier Wheeler attacks from a different position other than top of the key, where 5 defenders are able to see where he's coming from. If he's the guy that catches it in the second pass, now he's attacking from the corner and the wing. That's tough, man. It's a different angle that the defense has to defend him.
Looking for a high ball screen. Shot clock at 5. Frederick got his hands on another one. Shot clock was reset after the turnover, and so South Carolina State able to draw the foul. Cason Wallace maybe jammed his finger on that one.
It's not going to happen a lot, but Cason Wallace at that time takes the outlet pass. Xavier Wheeler sprints up, catches it in the corner. Now he's attacking a defense that's broken down, and with his quickness, his ability to get in the lane, and his decision making when he's there, it's a tough angle for any defense to try to defend and help recover, because now he's finishing that, dropping it off to Oscar, or kicking it in the corner for a 3.
7 assists tonight already for Wheeler.
He piles him up, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Started his career at Georgia. Toppin will leave. Collins replaces him. And another one coming, Davion Everett. Well, the crowd looking for a biscuit. They will be denied here.
The other thing Kentucky's always done well, and they've done well today, is defend without fouling. Coach Cal's teams have always been able to do that pretty well.
Wheeler forced that one up. Oscar can bail everybody out. And he got 2 rebounds after. Speaking of defending, Cal broke out the dry erase board today and illustrated for us how he wants his bigs to defend ball screens at the top of the key, and it's different depending on who the big is. Why would that be?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting with Oscar and Lance Ware. He wants them to hedge out on that guard coming off the high ball screen.
Wallace just took it away, and he throws it down. 5 already in the second half for Wallace.
We're on Yenso.
And Frederick with the steal, and gives us a wedgie.
That's that pressure getting after you.
Checking in for the Bulldogs is number
Great
11,
instinct for that, Cason Wallace.
He replaces Bates.
Not afraid of that contact. See that explosion? Coach Stoops could use him too.
Oh yeah,
He's built for it.
Got a big one.
He's built for anything.
Big one this weekend with #1 Georgia in town. The flight was full of folks in red and black. Didn't come spending the money on all the bourbon. Fade away, tough angle, and Shamad Alston, it's his first bucket.
You were talking about defending that high ball screen.
Yep.
Yenso is so long on that high ball screen, they want him to retreat. And he can recover, and if there is a lob, he's there at great length to defend that. If the guard does get in the lane, he still is long enough to cover a lot of space.
Kentucky turnover. Wow, Wallace challenged that with 2 hands. Cats have a 4-on-3. Wheeler finds Frederick. Got it. 17 for Frederick. 2 threes this half.
Again, you saw the explosion, blocked by Wallace on one end, gets at the outlet quick. Secondary pass by Xavier Wheeler, attacks, gets it to the corner, C.J. Frederick.
Good hands by Collins.
A lot of deflections today by Kentucky.
C.J. Frederick, pretty good night all the way around.
Your man, exactly where he needs to be. Sprint up to that corner, they're going to find you. Kentucky up, 62-35.
Well, here's what the week's been like for Kentucky. Some ups and downs. Got DJ Wagner to commit. Dad played for Cal at Memphis, and that wrapped up the #1 recruiting class in the country. And then Tuesday, lost in double overtime to Michigan State. Oscar with another double-double, 22 and 18. And then Sunday, we'll head to Spokane and meet up with Gonzaga, coming off a tough loss against Texas. Pretty good week, by the way, for the pride of Tates Creek High School. There's Darren Horn next to his wife Carla, his son Walker on this team. And Northern Kentucky knocked off Cincinnati at home last night. That's a big win for the North. So congratulations to Coach Horn, who once sat in this seat next to me, got smart, got back into coaching, and after being an assistant to Shaka Smart at Texas, landed the Northern Kentucky job.
I wonder if he knew then that you could get and eat ice cream on air if he still would have left.
May have stayed, huh?
He would have stayed. Ice cream, get to hang out with Tom Hart.
I've chased a couple of them to the broadcasting business, including an unforgettable John Pelfrey, who's just sitting next to me, Coach Pell. And he's doing his thing. They open with Tennessee, by the way, the folks at Tennessee Tech. He looks good in purple.
Yes.
Transition three from Reeves. Now, John Calipari said I should have played Antonio Reeves more. He had a missed assignment on the defensive end against Michigan State. He said, but he brings so much more to the table. I really should have stuck with him because we need scorers on the floor.
Well, and shooters, too. He has that mentality. That catch and shoot right there, yes, good balance, but also he can put it on the floor. Good pull-up jump shot. He just has that mentality.
Played at Simeon in Chicago before going to Illinois State. Cal got another pretty good guard out of Simeon back in the day. Fellow by the name of Derrick Rose. And took him to the Final Four in San Antonio with Memphis. Isaiah Turner's got another one. Reeves played for Mike Bibby at Shadow Mountain High School in Phoenix in between stops at Simeon. And Bibby really ran that team by all accounts like it was a pro team. To be able to learn from a guard like that must have been very rewarding. After the turnover by Wallace. Oscar Tshiebwe the rebound.
And that's the first time Kentucky's been affected by that full court pressure by South Carolina State. So they've done a good job handling that pressure throughout the game.
And they're going to get Oscar for the elbow. Got caught for one of those against Michigan State the other night.
And they're going to call that every single time. Every single time. Even he plays big. He's wide, right? But that, and it's something that you have to just learn.
That could have been a flop, and they're going to look at it. Flop takes a lot of different definitions. Could be a kick-out leg on a shooter's three.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
If that big elbow is coming anywhere near your head,
you're going to get out of the way.
Are you not jerking your head out of the way? Or are you waiting for it to hit you?
Well, here's what the officials look at. The snap back of the head that didn't occur thanks to force movement from the opposition is going to bring you a flop, and that's going to be a technical these days.
Sure. The action is offensive.
You know, you could hit the mute button if you want.
Well, I kind of wanted everyone to hear the interaction.
Look at Access. What did he say? He said it was offensive foul?
Offensive foul to call him. And it's that movement.
I'm a little surprised, honestly, that after going to the review and seeing the head snap that they didn't see that a different way. We got volleyball. In fact, a triple header Sunday afternoon. Mississippi State takes on Tennessee at noon. And the top teams in the conference square up. It's a top 20 matchup with Kentucky going up against Coach Wise, the record setter at Florida. And then Texas A&M and Mizzou close it out. All three available not just on the SEC network, but also available on the ESPN app. So flopping now brings with it no warning. Even that wasn't deemed to be flopping, but you will see an automatic technical foul right off the bat.
I think that was survival. I think that was just instinct to snap your head back.
But do you like the idea to take that play out of it? We're going to a technical for flops with no warning?
Not all cases. I think Doug Shows explained it to us pretty good in terms of if you have somebody who is trying to sell a charge on an offensive player that's attacking, instead of calling that flop, you call a defensive foul.
Yeah.
However, if you have a shooter who pulls up his leg and falls down, now that's a flop rather than an offensive foul.
Livingston with the three. Little fade, and Livingston commits the foul. It's his first.
Sometimes you just think ball is exposed and you can't help it. After you make a big three on one end, you want to make another big play.
And that'll put Shaman Alston at the free throw line. Charge that foul to Reeves. It's his second. Big Week 12 football matchup lineup for you. Florida and Vandy get it started at noon after Vandy's big win here last week. Western Kentucky at Auburn. Cadillac will try to get another home win. And then number 14 Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, who may be on the move, travel to Arkansas to take on your Razorbacks. What do you think of Arkansas football this year?
Well, when you have KJ Jefferson, that is such a dynamic part of that offense. If he's not 100%, you're going to suffer.
Oscar got fouled after another rebound.
Great take by Damian Collins. I love the aggressiveness. But Oscar just has an instinct for it, and he's strong. And what also he does, he's got these subtle moves that he uses to knock other guys off balance. If you notice that, even in that last play right there, it's just a little nudge around the hip to where the defensive guy gets off balance. Now Oscar's attacking that basketball off the rim.
Another free throw coming, 69% of the season. School record double-doubles last year. Broke Dan Issel's previous record. Haven't had the consensus National Player of the Year return to school since Tyler Hansbrough in 2008. Hansbrough, his numbers went down that next year, but team won a national title.
Well, Kentucky's got everything you need to win a national title this year.
Left hand and a finish by Alston. Well, the shooting has been better for Kentucky. 2 for 11 the first half. They made 5 of 7 in the second. But Baby Hook fell short.
Well, this is where you can't play the score.
Okay.
If you're Kentucky, right? You just got to continue to do what you have been. Good defense, get it off the glass. Hands in the lane. Good job by Wallace there.
And a South Carolina State turnover. What are we talking about here? Doug, listen to me, Doug.
He's
Doug.
in his space. He's trying to defend himself.
Oscar's going to get a breather. Gun on Yenso on the floor.
The advantage, though, Kentucky has is you have a few guys, and it's no secret, that need to get minutes, need to show Cal what they can and can't do.
When you say
need
to get minutes, you mean in a game like
minutes,
tonight.
not like it, man.
Yeah, not like Gonzaga necessarily.
Oh, right, exactly. You have to get on the floor with the officials, with the bright lights, with the fans in the crowd, and that kind of experience is nothing like it. You can't practice enough.
Hello. He was looking for the shooter.
Yeah, he was. Those types of actions.
Walk me through it. Like the difference in playing in a closed gym with your guys versus getting under the lights in front of 18,000.
Well, it's about what you figure out you can not get away with, but what you can do. Can I make that pass? Because the other thing, too, is when you turn the bright lights on, your opponent is playing at another level. It's very difficult, if impossible, to replicate the kind of intensity of a game speed without being in the game.
A jump ball and the possession arrow turn it over the other way. Cal had a message for his guys today. He referenced Steve Kerr. The Warriors have struggled on the road, and even if Steph gives them 50, they're still losing road games. And Kerr said, what we're missing is grit. And that's what Cal's looking for from his guys, too.
Well, then he knows how to get it to them because he stays on. Keep talking about it. Keep playing them in difficult games the way he schedules, where they're going to play as tough as schedule as anybody. You're going to either develop grit, and even situations like this, right? Adversity. Now, South Carolina State, yes, Kentucky's got this game pretty
You can say it. It's okay. I don't think anyone's changing the channel.
That's good. But what South Carolina State can do is show you different looks. Full court press. They switch from zone to man to try to create some adversity for these guys to make decisions. And now you continue to make the right decision over and over in games like this. You carry it forward now to the Gonzaga game, and then when they play UCLA and into the SEC season.
Going to credit Alston with the tip. Reeves gambled. It will stay with South Carolina State. Well, number 4, Kentucky, a little sloppy that last segment. See if they can clean it up. Be back to Rupp in a moment. Well, Kentucky shooting the ball well here in the second half, and the Cats building again, building for next year. They have wrapped up the #1 recruiting class in the country. Added DJ Wagner late, Reed Sheppard from in-state, Kentucky Mr. Basketball. There is a ton of talent on its way in. And some of it kind of non-traditional. Robert Dillingham's playing overtime elite, which is a lot different. Some folks thought when he was going there that would be a path straight to the NBA, but he wants to come here. Look at that. They got 4 in the top 10, and Reed Sheppard, a guy that the locals want to see do really well. You know that family.
Oh, there's no doubt. Jeff Sheppard played against him. An athlete. How about there'll be 4 Camden, New Jersey guys on the roster?
Yeah.
Kareem Watkins, Lance Ware now, and then these 2 guys.
Well, going back to Big Blue Madness, the entire team from Camden was in the building, and Kareem was dapping up DJ Wagner, Aaron Bradshaw.
There is nothing he can't do, DJ Wagner.
By the way, I feel like there's no better recruiter than a guy who's sitting on your bench. You know?
It's funny you say that, because when I was getting recruited, one of my coaches said, when you go and you visit, talk to the guy on the end of the bench. See how he likes it. See how he's treated.
Yeah.
And because that is important. You know, you have to know that whatever happens when you do step on campus, that you're going to be treated right. You're going to be pushed to get better. And to go back of the experience of game time, it's the sense of urgency. Until you're in a game with older guys, the sense of urgency in the level of competitiveness and aggressiveness that guys who have been in college basketball play with is something that you don't see in high school, AAU, or even in practice. Now, it's very rare when you do have a freshman that comes in with that level. And Cason Wallace is a guy, but there's a lot of them that takes a year or 2 to understand that. And in some cases, you hope it's November, December by conference play. You understand the sense of urgency.
Dallas James at the free throw line. He's screaming for a free chicken biscuit if he can miss 2 in a row. That was Bradley who stood up and was screaming the loudest. I'm sure you got an early flight tomorrow. Here's Reeves for 3. Whoa. That was a curveball he just threw to him.
That was a great catch, one-handed catch.
Gary
Trevon Diggs had that one-handed catch.
That's right. Gary out of Dallas Oak Cliff and then Wallace Community College. Here's transition 3.
So that's what I'm talking about, Jacob Toppin. Defensive rebound, offensive rebound. Didn't pay off, but that's the other ways he can affect the game other than having to make a jump shot.
Seven-footer with the jump hook. Toppin finds it. 2, 4, 3, Reeves got himself some space and knocks it down.
See, this is a game where everybody gets to eat.
Yeah.
Right? It's like all you can eat. Everybody's going to get a chance to get up some shots, pad some stats. Everybody's smiling at the end of this game.
I thought that was the ice cream.
That is part of the ice cream. Everybody's food's going to taste a little bit better.
Toppin,
good no call.
Lucky he didn't get the whistle because it leads to this. Where at the other end? Turned into a 5-on-3. deep one. It's from McKay. Ware running the floor. That's a high percentage look.
Not many teams have three big guys that run the floor like Kentucky does, finish above the rim. And you add in Toppin to that.
It's now a 33-point lead, and the Cats on a 7-0 run.
Lance Ware, Camden, New Jersey, going up finishing this. Kentucky up big, 75-42.
Well, here's a look at the highlights on the Kentucky schedule. These are all games that neither Pat nor I will be doing. Sunday at number 2 Gonzaga. That's in Spokane. That's a long trip. They're going to leave tomorrow, and they're not going to come back until Monday because of the flight. By the way, Gonzaga got smoked by Texas last night, 93-74, opening the Longhorns' new building. That was one of the biggest losses for Gonzaga in recent years. Here's a tale of tape. Tshiebwe and Timme, two guys in the running already for Player of the Year.
And Texas did a good job of swarming Drew Timme. He's still a heck of a player, too. They run their offense through him. So the length of Kentucky certainly is what they're dependent on bothering him. But the thing with Gonzaga is they want to get out in transition, right? Yeah. So it's going to come down to Kentucky's shot selection, because if you're taking bad shots, now your defense is out of position, defensive transition. Even if you miss shots, if it's a good shot, then your defense will be in better position to get back in transition, which you don't want Gonzaga in transition. They're very good passing team.
Wheeler harassed in the backcourt, numbers the other way. Reeves will let it fly. One of the many things Chris Beard's Texas team did really well against Gonzaga last night is they shot the ball. Knocked down 13 of 33 threes, and it was the most lopsided loss for Gonzaga since they lost to Arizona in March of 2014.
Well, one thing, too, they turned them over 20 times for about 30 points. Texas did to Gonzaga.
Yep.
And if you want to slow down, well, that's a little globetrotter. Split the defense. Oh, you got to shoot that for him. Get him that assist. Right? But if you want to slow down a fast break, offensive rebounds, steals in transition, obviously get back in transition, but taking good shots so your defense can set up.
Toppin had Ware, but taking himself off the window. Jacob Toppin last year was a 6-point, 3-rebound player in 18 minutes. He can't be that this year if Kentucky's going to win a national title.
No, you're right. And I think he's in the midst of figuring out, even for him, a guy that played a lot of minutes last year, figuring out his role. And if he's adding things to his game, what can he get away with in the game? What kind of shots am I working on? In the beginning of the season, you saw him shoot a few 15-foot step back, fadeaway jump shots, which with his athleticism, he can rise above his defender, yes.
Yeah.
But you'd want him to be attacking the basket.
Wheeler cuts through the D. Another corner three. That is the exact play John Calipari drew up for us after practice today. Playmakers in the middle, shooters in the corner.
That's it. And Severe's like, yes, catch and shoot that. That's his 9th assist.
He's still below his average for the season with 9. How's that? Frederick with the touch pass. 4-on-1. Who wants it? Reeves to Ware. Kind of
you would have shot that.
I would, no doubt about it, because I would have wanted to give you the assist.
Thank you.
Let's stat those. I can't speak anymore. I'm thinking about that ice cream. Let's stuff the stat sheet together. Yes.
Teamwork.
He's stuffing the turkey next week.
That piece of it.
Ooh. 84-48.
Great attack. I love Jacob Toppin. Feel familiar there. Using the left hand. Nice soft touch. Save Wheeler doing what he does best. Getting the ball up the floor, finding his man, Antonio Reeves, for the 3. Kentucky up big, 84-48.
Kentucky shooting 58% from 3 in the second half. Fourth-ranked Cats with the lead. Let's take a look at our mayhem moment brought to you by Allstate.
We've been talking about Jacob Toppin. Has a big second half going. Great anticipation on the block. Again, 2 dribbles. Length of the floor with the flush. And I like the flex at the end.
Well, this is the right way to flex, right?
Flex.
Know where the camera is, number one, know where the opponent is, but also know that it's a dead ball.
Oh, he's a vet.
No one's running back.
There's no question. He's a veteran.
CJ leading the way with 17 points. He's knocked down 3 threes.
Bringing great energy. My man, Jake Toppin.
I was talking with Goose Gibbons about that turnaround jumper, and the Toppin showed early in the season. It's something he's really refined. What's interesting about it is, and Goose was confirming this, that's a shot that plays at the next level because of his athleticism. But I think, to your point, don't lean on that. Be more aggressive by going to the basket.
Absolutely. And if you don't have to, I take that shot. If you're in a position where, okay, this is all we have, and there's going to be moments where that offense is running and there just isn't anything there. Now it falls on your lap to have to make that type of a shot. Sure.
Nearly turned over. Thiero finds Ware, and he jams it home.
Lance.
And then he got, did he get teed up or Toppin? He get Toppin with the tee. And he's going to explain it to Cal. This is a veteran officiating crew. Vladimir Voyar-Tadal with the tee. And it, did they get him for the too short taunt?
Dunked on his head. I think that's what it was. And that was on Toppin?
Yeah.
I think that's what
Let's see if we get another look. Gary knocks down the free throw. So this is after the dunk. Watch Toppin 0. He's going the, hey, dunked on your head, too short, and we cut our way too soon. So I don't know that was it. If I think in college basketball, if they're going to start calling tees on guys for saying too short or he dunked on your head, that's like a 15-yard penalty for the horns down. We're being a little too sensitive.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of whistles.
Yeah. Whoa! Ware went up to get that one. Xavier had it stripped, but I get a foul on Mark Wardlaw. It's his first.
When you're taking on Lance Ware and Damian Collins, you're expecting that to go the other way. That is a no-no with the length and anticipation both those guys have.
8 blocks for Kentucky tonight. Wheeler's got another free throw.
And it's just a turnover. Challenging those two guys. Xavier showing that full court pressure right there, and that's one of the ways he can make a difference on the team. What I love, the difference of him and Cason Wallace. Both can defend, but one gets underneath you, and Xavier Wheeler. Cason has that great length.
First bucket for Bates after a couple of free throws. Nice feed and a flush by Thiero. Cats well on their way to 100.
Cason Wallace has a great ability to go at a top speed while holding off a defender and making a quick pass. Done that multiple times today.
Well, the 6'1" freshman, DJ Bates, pushing for more playing time. Collins with the turnaround. And Lance Ware again. Is it too early to ask you what we've learned about Kentucky tonight? 4.5 to play.
They shot the ball extremely well. I loved them getting in transition. They were committed to getting transition.
Wheeler put him on the spin cycle.
Of course, South Carolina State challenges you to do that because they're pressuring you, so you want to attack that pressure. But I thought they handled it well. The speed up and down the floor, they made good decisions.
Eric Martin, head coach at South Carolina State. He's played in and coached in some of the great venues in college basketball. He was looking forward to this one. He said, never before set foot in Rupp. And he had a pretty good comp. He said, if this thing is anything like Allen Fieldhouse, and it's going to be nuts. Double-digit assists for the 15th time for Sahvir Wheeler. He said he played in an all-star tour when he was coming out of college. Bob Huggins was coaching, was one head coach, and John Calipari was the other. Co-coaches as they went overseas with some first-round guys.
And I believe that's when Coach Cal was at UMass. Coach Huggins at Cincinnati.
Yeah, Tony Barbee was one of the players on that team.
Coach Barbee
from UMass.
Growing up, I can remember watching Coach Barbee playing for UMass.
You must have been a Derek Kellogg fan.
Oh, love Derek Kellogg. Coach Kellogg's on staff right now. Coach Frank Martin out there at UMass.
Short, here's Thiero. Crossover mid-court.
Oh,
Wow. That's an add-on to the recruiting class. An add-on that a lot of people would love to have. Lance Ware above the rim. Thiero above the rim. It's a dunk party at Rupp tonight. Bring your own ice cream. Kyle to South Dakota coming up next from a refurbishing Hunk. Might be tough to shoot with all the dust on the floor in Stark Vegas, but Adu Thiero knock it off the rim, no doubt about that. Here's some SEC news and notes. How about Arkansas? Trainon Brazil's dunk of the year last night. Their defense has been sensational. Tolu Smith is coming up next. He's the SEC Player of the Week, 77% from the floor and 18 points. And a couple of upsets. Tennessee fell at home to Colorado. Pardon me, I said at home. That was actually in Nashville. And Florida lost to Florida Atlantic. We're seeing a lot of upsets in college basketball.
sure. And there's a lot of transfers, guys playing with each other for the first time. So you're going to see the growth over the period November, December, hopefully ready for conference season. The other thing, too, is teams are challenging themselves early on. I think the message is clear for resume building. Let's schedule these tough games. There was a time where there were certain, I'll do my air quotes, mid-major teams you didn't want a part of. You didn't want a piece of.
And there are also coaches who didn't want to schedule them, like
exactly.
the birthday boy Jim Boeheim today, by the way. Happy birthday, Coach.
But there was a risk of it. Now, you know that it's beneficial to schedule those games.
Right.
You're going to have, that's part of it. Even if you lose that game, they give you credit for scheduling those types of games.
The RPI is dead. And what that used to reward you for is your opponent's wins. Or your opponent's wins, even to go further. So if you played somebody from a conference that was going to rack up a ton of wins and win the SoCon, by the way, and end up with 25 wins, that would help you in the RPI, but it might be a dangerous game. I think what we're going to see going forward is scheduling imbalance, though, because I think that good teams are going to have great opponents and then nobodies, because it doesn't matter if they're 300 or higher in the RPI. It just matters what quad it is. And an average opponent or below average opponent is never going to be better. Never going to be a quad one game, especially got them at home. Collins
That's a good
throws down the dunk.
Yeah, and there has to be a way where it is encouraged to schedule those games because they're exciting games, and I think the excitement of them and what you learn as a team by scheduling some of those mid-major teams that you'll see in the tournament.
Unless you're Louisville, by the way. Some of the teams talk about bad start, bad luck, 3 straight losses by 1 point to start the season for Kenny Payne's squad, including dropping one to Appalachian State. They lost to Bellarmine in the opener. We'll see Bellarmine here at the end of November.
And to go back, you had said, what can you learn from Kentucky today? That Michigan State game, you can look at maybe 3 plays where Kentucky wins that game. I'm not even talking about the free throw shooting, okay? That's a given. You got to be able to make free throws in tight games at the end of games to win. But when you talk about 2 crucial defensive breakdowns, they win that game if they don't have those. So that's just communication, understanding. Oh, my goodness.
That's Chris Livingston.
Cal broke down the highlight reel.
Cal broke down the defensive breakdown on the coast-to-coast buzzer beater with the dunk, and he said, listen, you're going to get criticized if it doesn't work. Obviously, he said, but our thinking there was, let's make Michigan State scramble. 7.5 seconds left in the game. He goes, they had run so many great half-court sets. We didn't want them to be able to bring it up the court and run something at their convenience. So they thought by picking up full court, they could put Michigan State into a scramble drill, but boy, the Spartans sure did execute.
Well, Hauser was making everything. So they're running plays for him, coming off screens. He's making shots. He didn't make anything the game before against Gonzaga. And he comes in.
That was on an aircraft carrier.
That was on an aircraft carrier. No, I've never shot an aircraft carrier before. But listen, I shot at Swan Street Park in Everett, okay? You want to talk about the wind down there. We used to have to shovel off the snow to shoot, okay? So now, yeah, I think Cal was right. You had a Michigan State team whose half-court game was clicking because you had a guy that's on fire. You had a point guard that's making good decisions. Got my shooter, I can throw it over the top for a lob. So, and you got to change something up there.
And they're emptying the bench now. Brennan Canada is on the floor. Kareem Watkins will get some run, and Walker Horn gets a chance to play in front of mom and dad. All right.
You got to put it up.
You got to shoot it, right?
Got it.
If you're Watkins, Horn, Canada, first touch, put it up. Watkins solves it. Livingston with an aggressive take. And it was a hard foul. It's a 4th on Dallas James. That's pretty good. Make the trip down from just about Cincinnati. You know, hey, Darren, the game's on TV. You don't have to record it on your phone. Must be a really cool moment. I asked Walker if he had a chance to watch the Northern Kentucky win last night, and he was really excited for his pops. He said, no, I had a test. Yeah, get my academics.
What kind of test?
First. Academic, I don't know. They're all the same to me. All of my books are already colored in. So there's mom and dad, big night at Rupp.
Yeah, that's great. So, yeah, he's going to catch and shoot. There's no doubt.
What is the responsibility of the scholarship player in this situation? I mean, Livingston took that to the rack. You good with that, or do you got to give it up?
I'm good with it because Livingston is a freshman. He's in attack mode. He's having a good game. So, and here's the other thing. You never want to be the guy where everybody in the crowd is shoot and everybody's pointing to him. Throw it to that guy. You know, there's a level of respect. You know, it's sort of like on the hush-hush. Like, everybody knows we're trying to get you the shot. But if you turn down an open shot to give it to a walk-on. And
Livingston, he knows his role. In fact, he's an actor. He's going to be in Shooting Stars, a Universal project with LeBron playing the lead. Livingston, an Akron product. And that one's short. Canada lost the handle on it. James gets his second bucket. 1:20 to play.
Watkins is doing a heck of a job handling that pressure.
He's got a great vertical. Horn gives it up.
Shoot that.
Got on Yenso. Pull the trigger. Canada from the corner. Got it! Biggest 3 of the night for the Cats. 47-point lead. Onienso with the rejection. And a finish on the other side.
Basket by Bates.
Bates with a good second half. 30 seconds to play. There's a 5-second difference in the game clock and the shot clock. Watkins picked up his dribble. Canada. Shot clock getting late. I think it's just time to be selfish, right? It's like when they bring us the ice cream, I'm not giving it back.
Well, if there's a second on the shot clock, you probably should shoot it.
No doubt.
Rather than turn it over.
106-63 is the final score. Eric Martin's squad. And game 4 of a season-beginning 11-game road trip. And the Cats with a pretty good game tonight, especially shooting the ball. 58% for the game and hit 9 threes. This was the tonic for the bad taste that was left in the mouth after that Michigan State performance.
Well, they took care of the basketball, playing at a fast speed, right? Up and down the floor, transition, only 11 turnovers for Kentucky. They shot the ball well from the three-point line, 9 of 23 as a team, and from the free throw line. So all in all, and you get guys played a lot of minutes, guys that are developing. They had great games themselves, so that experience is worth a lot.
Cats hit 4 of their last 5 to close this one out. We still got another one coming tonight. South Dakota taking on Mississippi State. We'll get you to Starkville in just a moment. Gonzaga's next, all right? And Gonzaga's coming off of a poor performance, one of their worst in years against Texas. Not the time you want to catch Mark Few's squad.
So I do believe in the mental advantage, and when you have Gonzaga coming off that game,
let's get them their airtime if they're here.
They look great. Look at these guys.
Come on over here. Just get in. We're not saying anything important. Come on. Go ahead. You were saying?
There you go. Get a little pom-pom going. So I do believe in mental advantage, although Kentucky has something to prove. They want to improve on that Michigan State game in a few key moments here. I think I get the Cats, man.
Yep.
They've got the length, athleticism to swarm and bother Drew Timme, and if they make the decisions they did tonight in transition, it'll be a fun up-and-down game.
These kids are doing something you never did. They got to go to school tomorrow. Payson Wallace had a great game. We're going to talk to him post-game. You can see that at halftime of the Mississippi State game. Before we talk to him, break down how you thought he played tonight.
Fantastic. He plays a point guard position, makes good decisions. He's strong there. He can shoot going away, as you can see from his body there. Catch and shoot. The guy really is a complete player from the defensive standpoint. He's strong, loves contact. And he plays well with Severe Wheeler on and off the ball.
12 points on 5 of 7 shooting. It's going to be a long road trip for Kentucky. Leaving for Spokane tomorrow, not coming back till Monday. For this young team that hasn't experienced a road trip like that, what would the secret be?
It's a lot of travel. Get some rest, hydrate, get in, watch film, right? Those are the key things. Like, how do you continue to learn? Even from this game, you got to learn. Take something from the Michigan State game, from this game, and bring it to Gonzaga.
Here's what's coming up next for Kentucky. Is a couple of big road games, including one all the way across the pond, going to London to take on Michigan. So that will be quite the journey. So at Gonzaga Sunday, that's not on campus, that's at the Civic Center. We'll be back here to celebrate Thanksgiving on Wednesday against North Florida. And then Bellarmine the Monday after that, before they go on to Michigan.
Bellarmine's a good team. You saw what they did to Louisville.
That's right.
Spread you out. They're going to try to attack those gaps. The back cut, screen.
Does that mean they're playing for a state championship when Bellarmine comes to town?
Yeah, that's right.
They already got the win against Louisville. Real quick, Mississippi State is up next. Before I get to Kevin Fitzgerald and John Sumble, what do you like about State this year?
Well, Tolu Smith we've known what he can do. Get it to him in the block. He's very efficient down there. I feel like DJ Jeffries, Shaquille Moore, very aggressive. Shaquille Moore in the open floor is about as tough as anyone we have in our league. It's explosive guard. And Jeffries is an overall do-it kind of guy. Coach Jans has done a good job of establishing what he wants. Tough defense, and then get it to Tolu in the block.
Hey, pretty good for your opener, huh?
Fantastic. It's great to be with you, Tom Hart.
We should do it again.
Now I need a ride back to my hotel.
I'm walking. Coyotes coming up next against the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. Pat Bradley, our fantastic SEC Network crew. I'm Tom Hart. 106-63 is your final. Let's get you to Stark Vegas. The shooter, two of the shooters, Sunville and Kevin Fitzgerald.